Year 6. Good to see you all again. Hope you've had a nice week. Hopefully you've been managing to get out and go for nice walks, which has been a bit of a treat, hasn't it, after being stuck inside for so long. Rusty and I have been going out, enjoying our walks. We're very lucky we live near the sea, so we've been going up and paddling in the water. And we've been taking care to make sure Rusty doesn't get sunburn. We can't use sun cream on him, so he has to wear glasses and cover up. So he's been super safe. But remember, if you go out, sun cream. We've had a lot of sunny days, haven't we? Well, we hope you've managed to keep yourselves busy and occupied and had a good week. And we're in for the next instalment of Ratburger. Okay, we hope you enjoy it. Get comfortable. Here we go. Okay, here we go. So, Zoe got suspended from school and sent home because she had Armitage the rat with her. She stopped to see Raj on the way, who persuaded her that Armitage was a rat, not a pet, and she should let him go if she loved him, which is what she tried to do. She took him to the park and tried to set him free, but he just followed her. He didn't want to leave her, so she took him home. Unfortunately, when she got there, the burger van man was there, except he was pretending to be his twin brother, who was also called Bert, who was a rat catcher, and he was there to catch Armitage. And after a little bit of a kerfuffle where he was chasing Armitage around the bedroom and under the bed, trying to hit him with a mallet, he captured Armitage and took him away. And as you can imagine, Zoe was very, very upset. So that's where we left the story. Okay, and here we go. He doesn't stamp on them though. They're just pulverised. Shame really. That's monstrous. Who cares? One less rat. No, I have to save little Armitage. I have to. Zoe stood up and headed for the door. Her stepmother pressed her firmly back down onto the bed with her considerable weight. You're not going anywhere, said the woman. You're grounded. Do you hear me? Grounded. Grounded. There's a U in grounded, said Zoe. No, there isn't. Sheila was really angry now. You ain't leaving this room until I say so. You can sit here and think about what you have done and rot. Wait till my dad gets home. What's that useless git gonna do? Zoe's eyes stung. Dad might have fallen on hard times, but he was still her father. Don't you dare talk about him like that. All he's good for is benefit money and a roof over me head. I'll tell him you said that. He already knows it. I'll tell him every night, snorted the gruesome lady with a guttural laugh. He loves me. He won't let you treat me like this, protested Zoe. If he loves you so much, why does he spend his own life down the boozer? Zoe fell silent. She didn't have an answer to that. The words broke her heart into millions of tiny pieces. Ha! Said the woman. With that, Sheila slammed the door and locked it behind her. Zoe rushed to the window and peered down at the road. She had a pretty good view of it, what with being 37 floors up in the crumbling tower block. In the distance, she could see Bert speeding off in his van. He wasn't much of a driver. She watched as he knocked off a few car wing mirrors and nearly ran over an old lady before the van zoomed out of view. Outside, the sky grew dark, but the thousands of streetlights in the town lit up the outside world. They bathed her room in an ugly orange glow that could never be turned off. Late into the evening, Dad finally returned from the pub. There was shouting between him and Sheila, as there always was, and the slamming of doors. Dad never came into Zoe's bedroom to see her. He'd most likely fallen asleep on the sofa before he had chance. Night came and went without sleep for Zoe. Her head was spinning and her heart was aching. In the morning, she heard her dad go out, presumably to wait for the pub to open, and her stepmother turn on the TV. Zoe banged and banged and banged and banged on the door, but her stepmother wouldn't let her out. I'm a prisoner, thought Zoe. She lay back down on her bed in despair, thirsty, hungry, and desperately needing a wee. Now, what do prisoners do? She said to herself. They try to escape. Armitage was in terrible danger. Zoe needed to save him, and save him fast. She remembered that Bert parked his filthy burger van outside her school every day, so if she could just break out of her room, she could follow him. Then she could find where he imprisoned all the rats before they were pulverised. Zoe pondered all the different ways in which she might escape. 1, she could tie all her bed sheets together and then try to abseil to safety. Though, as she lived on the 37th floor, she wasn't sure her sheets would get her much further down than the 24th floor. Chance of death quite high. 2, there was always the Birdman option. Make some kind of glider from coat hangers and knickers and fly down to freedom. Chances of death? High. And more importantly, Zoe didn't have enough pairs of clean knickers. 3, dig. Tunnels had been a favourite method of escape for soldiers in prisoner of war camps. Chance of death? Low. The problem with number 3 was that below Zoe's room was the flat of a moany old lady who, despite having the yappiest dogs herself, always went on and on about the noise from above. She would turn Zoe into her stepmother in no time. I could always tunnel sideways, thought Zoe. She unstuck a poster of the latest boy band and gently tapped the wall behind with her fingernails. The tapping echoed into the next flat, which meant the walls must be thin. Over the years, she'd heard a great deal of shouting coming from next door, but it was too muffled to deduce what kind of people lived there. A girl and her parents, Zoe thought, but maybe others too. Whoever they were, though, their lives sounded every bit as miserable as Zoe's, if not more so. So the plan itself was simple. The poster could be replaced at any time to hide what was going on. All she needed now was something to tunnel through the wall with. Something metal and sharp. A key, she thought, and ran excitedly to the door, only to remember that the key was on the other side. And that was the whole reason she had to escape. Duh, she said to herself. Zoe rummaged through her belongings. But her ruler, her comb, her pen, and her hangers were all made of plastic. Anything plastic would snap instantly if she tried to hollow out a wall with it. Zoe caught sight of herself in the mirror and realised the answer was staring her right in the face. Her braces. The blasted things would at last be some use. Zoe pulled them out with her fingers and dashed to the wall, without even pausing to wipe the spit off them. She scratched at the wall, Well, no wonder the braces were painful and rubbed against her gums and got stuck in Raj's cardigan. The metal was sharp. Quickly, the plaster from the wall was flaking onto the floor. Soon Zoe had scratched through the plaster to the bricks behind it, and the braces became thick with all the paint and plaster and dust from the wall. Suddenly, Zoe heard the key in the lock turning in her bedroom door, and she leapt up and stuck the poster back just in time. She remembered to shove her braces back in her mouth, though there wasn't time to wipe them clean first. Sheila looked at her stepdaughter suspiciously. She looked like she knew what Zoe was up to. But she didn't, not yet. "Do you want some grub? I suppose I'd better feed you," said the vile woman. "If you starve to death, I'll have social services all over me like a bleeding rash." Sheila's beady little eyes circled the room. Something was definitely different. She just couldn't put her chubby finger on it. Zoe shook her head. She didn't dare speak with a mouth full of dust. In truth, she was starving. But she had to get on with her escape plan and didn't want any more interruptions. "Well, you must need to use the bog," said the lady. Zoe spotted her stepmother's gaze searching the room. The little girl shook her head again. She thought she was going to choke, the dust now seeping right down the back of her throat. In truth, she was bursting and kept having to cross her legs. But if she went to the loo and her stepmother searched her room, she might find the beginnings of the tunnel. "Have you got your braces in?" Zoe nodded vigorously, then attempted a closed-mouthed smile. "Show me," pressed her stepmother. Zoe opened her mouth a little bit to show a little bit of metal. Right, I'm going to click off here now, click straight onto the next part, and we'll carry on, see what happens.